This is the Rebel Scum Podcast. Available in video on YouTube and audio wherever you listen to your podcasts. Every week, Brock and James talk the latest rumors, news, and theories from a galaxy far, far away. Support us on Patreon for exclusive offers and join the Star Wars discussion. Patreon.com/RebelScumPodcast. Here are your hosts, Brock and James.
You are always scum. Rebel scum.
It's been 1 year. I don't know what to say anymore. Episode 2012, 2021, 212 of the Rebel Scum Podcast. James, hello. How are you?
Hi, good. Thanks.
I'm Brock, by the way. This is James.
My mixer still isn't working, so I've got the beautiful snowball mic on a mic stand right now.
He's got the ball.
The ball's going. The ball is. Oh, check this out. You're gonna love this. Sorry to interrupt. I was doing some spring cleaning, and this is from the year 2017. May 2nd, 2017. These are 2 ticket stubs for The Fate of the Furious Fast and the Furious movie. There's 2 of them here. We watched them. And I thought the timing can't be better because the new one's coming out. Han from that series is going to be on Obi-Wan. And he's back now in Fast 9. Fast 9, of course, says, I don't know if you know this, but Justin Lin said that it's part of a trilogy. There's 9 of them. This is the trilogy now. The trilogy starts now on the Fast. There is no. I know, like Rez, our good friend Rez, is gonna probably roll his eyes. There is no film series as impressive as the Fast and the Furious.
It is something out of this world.
And literally now they're going to space, but it's because look, Star Wars was something. You know, Indiana Jones is something. Avatar might be something. There's like everything is, but Fast and the Furious is like a whole other level of how. Like it's been 20 years, 20 years of these movies. It released, I believe, like on our birthday in the year 2000 or 2001. Yeah, and it was a street racing movie, which basically Point Break. And then the sequel was like, wow, John Singleton's doing the sequel. That's incredible. And then Bow Wow showed up for the 3rd one. You're like, Bow Wow and this Friday Night Lights.
Yeah,
guy.
that's right.
Yeah, and then the 4th one, they're like, we're gonna get the gang back together, but not the whole gang. And then the 5th one, like Tyrese and like Ludacris were like, well, what about us? And like, come on over. And then The Rock was like, guys, and it's just been. Anyway, I'm sorry. I just saw those, but like. I don't, and Star Wars fans, you know, there's like the turmoil. Hey, Kathleen Kennedy's got fired. But Fast and Furious fans, man, they just go in. They're like, give me some popcorn, give me a beer, and I'll meet you at Tim Hortons after. And like that's it.
I finally watched that trailer, and I didn't even watch it like, oh, I'm going to watch the Fast 9 trailer. It was an ad for another YouTube clip. I was watching something on YouTube, and it was the ad. Fast and the Furious 9. I'm like, all right, I guess I'm watching this. And I was like blown away because I don't think I had realized The Rock isn't in this one. And I'm like, they replaced The Rock with John Cena. And I know they're not exactly the same characters, but I was like, you took one wrestler that has a successful movie career after leaving wrestling and replaced him with another wrestler that has arguably a pretty successful one as well.
This is the year of Cena, though. This is the John Cena year now with Suicide Squad. Right.
And he has a show. He's on he's a host of the new Wipeout show, which I haven't watched yet, but
I didn't even know.
I don't know how well it's doing. Yeah, but I think it's like a TBS thing. So we'll get it in 3 years. It's like we're India or something back in the day where it's like, we just got Miami Vice and it's 2006. No, that's me.
Well, I was just talking to my friend Dwayne when he lived. And we were talking about a show that he's like, I didn't even know.
That's true, yeah. Yeah, the show started in
He's
India,
like, when I moved to Canada, the show came out. Like,
not
but it was
India.
10 years old by then.
In Dubai. Dubai? No, where is he? Anyways, it doesn't matter. But yeah, it blows my so I only share that because I'm like, I watched a trailer as an ad for another YouTube clip. Every once in a while they do that. I'm like, I guess I'll watch it. I was like, wow, John Cena, come on over to Star Wars. Legit. I'm like, why not? He would be a cool Imperial or
and another wrestler, Bautista. Did you read the article? It was on today. I read it where he walked into the Warner Brothers at DC's offices and said, "I'm playing Bane." And they said, we're not even writing Bane. He goes, I know, but when you are, I'm playing him. Like, what? Like,
and I won't do that. Bars.
But how, just like the confidence that he has to be like, I'm gonna walk in, I'm gonna say, I'm playing Bane. The end. And the thing is, he's another wrestler that like,
yeah. I don't know. I always forget he was a wrestler.
He does like neither him and Cena I don't think have what The Rock have, but John Cena in the Suicide Squad trailer, I was like, oh, he has way more personality in that than a bunch of movies I've seen him in. I haven't seen him in every movie, but and Bautista in Guardians, especially, is it the second one when he's like trying to be like invisible or whatever?
Yeah, second one.
Like he like in the first one when he's like two whatever, he's got timing, like he's pretty good with that stuff. So. I don't think he's going to win an Oscar anytime soon, but he's got really great chops and timing. And, I mean, Bane. Yeah.
Sure. Why not?
Exactly. I hope he wears a mask.
Why not?
Oh, Batman, you are.
Oh.
No one cared who I was, so I put on the mask.
It would be perfect COVID. Like, you're wearing a mask already, so...
It's literally Bane just wears a COVID mask in the new one.
You think you were born in the pandemic. You simply adopted it. I was born there.
That's the kids.
I think that's
20
not
years
exactly
from
right.
now, that's what kids are going to be saying. I was born during the pandemic. Star Wars is...
Star Wars.
But, the thing with Star Wars is it's no, I love Star Wars. I would be down for it.
The thing about Star Wars is you gotta understand. We are less.
We're less
than 20 days away from
2 weeks.
Bad Batch. 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's on an ad.
So that's something.
Today or yesterday it said 2 weeks Bad Batch. And I was thinking, what is the Bad Batch? Is there a good batch to go with the Bad Batch? What if the Bad Batch is a limited series and they all just get like blown up by their brains at the end? Like, I flipped the switch.
It's is there going to be a whole part where they pull that chip out? And it's like it seems pretty obvious that like as the Empire is taking over and the clones are acting out Order 66. Are you 66? Yeah. A second there, I'm like, wait, is it 69? I'm like, no. Everyone would say it would be 69. Nice. Yeah. It seems like from the trailers, like, oh yeah, they are like not under the control of anything, and they're maybe fighting against the new Empire, like new Empire, the only Empire. Yeah, I'm super psyched, and Filoni doing the animation.
Have you seen the meme going around of Kane and Jarrus and Rex in the ship? And Rex says, I'm getting kind of hungry. We should go for a burger. And Kanan says, yeah, maybe we could order 66 of them.
That's
and
awesome.
It makes me laugh and smile way too much. I miss Kanan.
Yeah. I kind of wish I was reading Star Wars comics because this bounty hunting, whatever, this whole event that's happening is looking pretty cool. Someone gave me a couple copies of digital comics I haven't read for like Star Wars, so I gotta get some of those. Like, I gotta get it going on because like I think we're missing out on a lot of cool stuff. Man, I know it doesn't like affect movies and what have you. Here's the thing I just heard on another podcast talking about Marvel. Now, WandaVision and Captain America, the Falcon America, is
Falcon
those shows
America.
are doing really, really well. Captain Falcon
Falcon
America, Captain
America.
Falcon Punch. What was
The Falcon and
in Smash Brothers or F-Zero?
What? Yeah.
Winter Soldier. But you know what I'm talking about? That character in Smash Brothers. He was an F-Zero Falcon.
Yeah,
Captain Falcon.
Falcon,
Falcon Punch.
I love F-Zero's a great guy. I play it on my Mini all the time. I know it's on the Switch, but I play it on my Mini.
Show me your moves. Oh, show me your moves. Those shows are doing well. So like the real question is like, once they can make movies, they're gonna make movies. But like the success of Mandalorian and the success of WandaVision and Falcon, do you think Disney and Marvel and Lucasfilm start thinking like, oh, maybe we never make another movie again? I think it's a possibility with Star Wars. Like Marvel has too many properties that they can't stop. But like,
no, I think movies is bigger. There's more upside there because then you shoot the movie, you make a ton of money in the theater, and then you can throw it on your streaming service.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think they'll stop. However, I think they could see a possibility of slowing down. I saw the new trailer for Shang-Chi, the trailer that came out, and I watched it and I was underwhelmed by it. It looked fine, but Brock, but let's break it down right now. You look at that trailer and you look at the Good Falcon and the Winter Soldier trailer. Why am I going to see this movie in the theater when I could just stay home and watch this one on my TV? Yeah. I didn't like when I saw it. I was like, it looked to me. It just looked like it looked fine. Like it's probably going to be a fun movie. But like I was really hoping the trailer. First of all, I was just hoping the trailer would blow my socks off, like Guardians of the Galaxy. I was going to compare them all to Guardians because I didn't know anything about Guardians. I saw the trailer, I was like, well, I'm in. This one I saw, I was like, it looked like a generic action film. They're on a bus, yay. That was my thought. I was like, okay, the same lighting as every other Marvel movie. I was just underwhelmed by it. I'm sure the movie's gonna be fine though. The cast looks great, whatever. But when I look at it, I'm like, wow, why is this gonna get me into the theater when I have that without having to go to the theater? And I've been saying this about Rogue Squadron too. It's like, I don't know if Rogue Squadron looks like this. Why am I going to go see it when the Mandalorian looks like that? Like that's my thing is Black Widow. And I don't think Black Widow is actually going to be fair to compare because the pandemic will still be in its grips, even though a lot of the places will have the vaccines or whatever. But I think it'll still be choking us a bit, and the box office receipts. So I'm curious how this one does and Eternals does, how those two do. I think will be movies will be stronger, then we'll have a better idea. Because if they make what Tenet made, then I don't think they can, because I think already we're in a better spot than when Tenet came out. But I'm just curious, if those movies underperform, and I don't know what underperform is in the new movie box office now, right? Because it was like, clearly it was like, if they don't make $1 billion, that's a failure now, right? But because Captain Marvel made $1 billion, and I don't know one person that likes Captain Marvel if you go on Twitter. But it made $1 billion, and if that makes $1 billion, I smacked my microphone.
Good God!
If I need tape. If that made $1 billion, that's amazing. If that made $1 billion, though, then these movies have to make $1 billion, and so now I don't know what that is, but to your point, I think those two, I think Shang-Chi and Eternals are the two that, aside from Avengers, if they don't perform, they will, obviously, because it's Marvel. But if they don't perform to Marvel standards, you could be right. They could be like, you know what, those kind of characters and whatnot are relegated to Disney Plus, and then there'll be a big team up, and that team up will be in the theater for like Avengers style team up. I don't.
Quite frankly, I don't think I realized the same shit. Shang-Chi was going to be in the theaters and was a movie. I thought it was a series.
Look, I don't know. It looked like when I compare it to Falcon Winter Soldier, that's and WandaVision too. You compare all of those together, it's like, what separates that from these two? And look, if it came out, if it came out 2 years ago, I wouldn't be saying that because there wouldn't be anything to compare it to. But now it's like, and I've been saying that's with Rogue Squadron. If Rogue Squadron just looks like The Mandalorian or Book of Boba Fett or whatever, like, I'm gonna go see it. You're gonna go see it, obviously. But I don't know. Yeah. It's a weird time.
It's Shang-Chi. That is. I think the movie's gonna be good. Marvel. I don't want any Marvel fans coming after me, but like, I don't think we were really screaming for a Shang-Chi movie or series or anything. He's not. I've read not comics just about him, but he's been in comics I've read, and I'm like, he's like, he does karate. I'm like, cool. Like, it's not an exciting character. I'm sure the series, I will watch the series. Like, I'm sure it's going to be really cool. I love Awkwafina, so I'm in automatically, right?
Yeah, but she was great in the jungle. Sure. What's the jungle? The Jumanji.
the jungle. Jumanji, yeah.
Yeah, she was. I thought she held her own in that one really well with the cast because it's tough.
I'm just thrown off. I'm like, Shang-Chi isn't just a series. I'm like, anyways, but going back to Star Wars, it's like, yeah, like Marvel, I don't think would want to stop making movies. No. Though I think like what they should do with now the success so much of the last 2 Disney Plus shows is treat it like the comics, how there's like an event going on. You have all your titles. There's an event going on. The movie is the event. And then the series is where you like, that would be your individual, like, here's Captain America, here's Iron Man, here's Thor. They're not there. There are ways to make them interesting by themselves, but then you have the movie that brings them all together. So it's like, that's what brings people in. They're like, oh, cool. Look, that's the whole premise of Avengers. It's like in Justice League for that matter, but it's like, oh, well, these aren't doing well, but what if they were all on the same team? So it's like, here's extra value for your buck. It's like all the heroes. Cause it's not a new concept to like what happens in one movie affects the other movie, or so what's happening in a series you'll see somewhere else in a movie. That's always been interesting and always successful to my knowledge. So it's like it's weird after watching Winter Soldier and Falcon and Winter Soldier, because it's like, oh, these guys couldn't do their own movie, but like they shoot it like a movie, and it makes me think like it's 6 episodes and they're almost all an hour, so it's a 6-hour movie, which makes me think of the Snyder Cut, which is a 4-hour movie that is, I don't know if you can call it successful or not, but like people have not been stopping talking about it for a month. So it's like, same with Star Wars. It's just like Star Wars, I think you could hypothetically say like, let's not make another movie for like a decade and let's just make shows, because it's like The Mandalorian is really, really good, like in my opinion. And I think a lot of people agree. Like sometimes when we rate Star Wars, I'm like, can Mandalorian be considered a movie? Right? Because that would be like near the top of my list, if not number 1. So I don't know.
And it's easier to like, if something sucks, it's easier to hide it. Like if a show sucks, you just kind of push it to the back of your library, and you're just like, you keep it back there, you know. Look, but the thing you're bringing up that's great is they just released that vintage thing, and it's like, oh yeah, right, you're putting up the Ewok movies and well, the Tartakovsky, that's my favorite. That's probably my favorite Star Wars, because I love that. But like, you're putting that out there now. You're recognizing that there's a hankering for Star Wars, and if you have it, just use it to begin with. And if you could do shows, you know, Mandalorian costs $10 million a season. So if you can find a way to do a show for cheaper than that in Star Wars with the because now you got the volume. I don't know how that affects your budget. Like, but like, I don't see how you don't just start pushing more. And that's why I know they did that investor call in November, I think it was. And they were, but it's like, why don't you have, like, announce those? That's great. I'm not saying that. But you can't tell me they don't have more going on. Like if they don't, it's strange, especially since Marvel now with their shows, like everything all of a sudden is like we're shooting She-Hulk, we're shooting Miss Marvel, they're shooting like 1,000 shows right now. And you're like, I can't even keep up, which is great though for content on the service. But Star Wars is, well, where are you? You like Star Wars, you're the one who opened the door for Disney Plus and WandaVision, and season 2 of WandaVision carried the torch. Now Falcon the Winter Soldier has got that gold medal. But I don't know, like I hope Star Wars doesn't lag, and I hope they don't stop making Star Wars movies, but I hope that the movies have a purpose that can't be fulfilled on television. Whatever that is. I don't know.
Yeah. It's really hard to quantify.
Oh, you know what? I know what it is. Sorry, Brock. The Mandalorian is we all love the Mandalorian, but the Mandalorian is it's very similar to A New Hope in that it's isolated, right? It's very small.
Yeah.
The movies should be the big, epic, like A New Hope is isolated and small, but then Empire, like they build on it, and all of a sudden it's massive, and that's what the movie should feel more like. Is they should feel like, this is Mandalorian's great, phenomenal, but it's it's about a guy and the baby. This is, oh my gosh, something massive is at stake here. They got to burn the ring and whatever. So, but like it's something bigger is at stake. Whereas Mandalorian, Mandalorian doesn't have to save the universe. That's not why we watch it. And look, there's always room, and you would love this. There's always room for a big, giant, planet-destroying weapon in the theater.
Why do you want to blow everything up?
Palpatine's like, I will not be defeated until everything is destroyed.
It's like they should have they should put Palpatine in like a High Republic thing somehow. And there's just a scene where he sees like something explode. And he's like it's like somehow someone explodes like a grapefruit in front of him. And he's just like covered in grapefruit bits. And he's just like, good.
I hope they make like a comic or a mini, like a short story about how Palpatine is the one that put it in. Like, I guess it was Snoke who's a clone of Palpatine, so that's why Starkiller Base. It was like it's just Palpatine's like, we must destroy them all. Hey, this isn't working out. So
no,
this is so heavy. It's not. Wait, how did I have it? I don't remember. Hold on. Okay, hold on. What if we do this? Okay, this is exciting stuff. There we go. Okay, so anyway, what was I gonna say? Can you hear me still? Hello.
Yeah.
Okay.
Shout into it.
Yeah. What? It's better than. Okay, so people listening, my mic fell again. I'm sure you heard a big thud. I didn't read an article. I saw a headline for an article, and I put it in a rundown. That what if? So I changed it a little bit in the rundown, I think, because I can't remember what the article was or who wrote it, because it was in passing. But what if Plagueis is in? I think the article was in. But what if Plagueis is the Acolyte in the show The Acolyte? I haven't read The High Republic yet. You have. I think this takes place like 100 years before Phantom Menace, the Acolyte show. I could be wrong. I don't know if that gives Plagueis enough time to be in that before he is. I mean, maybe it does, because we don't know if Plagueis is killed.
We don't know. Yeah.
So I don't know. What, as someone who's read it though, does that theory make sense to you? Is it plausible?
It's plausible because they haven't really talked about the Sith at all. Like they talk about the dark side, but like I haven't finished the Claudia Gray book, so like, and that one's a little bit more dark, whatever dark side. But like the focus doesn't seem to be on the Sith at all right now, so it's like it's a possibility because they haven't even touched it. They're not like, oh, there is nothing, there's no one to worry about. But like as we know in the prequels, like Darth Sidious and all his Darths showing up is like, oh, what? This can't be. I think you can still. I think it's a for sure that if Darth Plagueis is still considered canon, and Darth Sidious obviously is. Like, they have to be in it because I believe Acolyte's 50 years before Phantom Menace.
Yeah,
Maybe a young. I don't know. I mean, I don't. Someone tell me how old Palpatine is in Phantom Menace. I don't know. It would be a no-brainer though, right? Like, you just have a young Chief Palpatine show up, and you're like, chef's kiss. But yeah, Plagueis as Acolyte, I think, is more likely if you want to go after that Sith storyline, which it's hard to say because it's like, will the Nihil still be the villains in the Acolyte? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The end of.
So is this like, are they doing what we've been talking about before? Is this the like culmination of the High Republic books? Is this the end of it all? Like, they could probably still make more books, but is this how the High Republic ends and then the current Republic and the prequels begins? Like, and would Plagueis be that, or would Palpatine, would one of those be that X factor that kind of, unbeknownst to the Jedi or the Nihil or any of that, would the Sith be the ones that kind of shift from one to the other? And would that be Plagueis? And it's supposed to be female driven, right? So could Plagueis possibly be a female? I wouldn't be against it because Plagueis doesn't exist in the world. Yeah. So I have no problem with that.
Outside of being mentioned in Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah, but right? I mean, like, no. He didn't say, have you ever heard of Mr. Plagueis the Wise? Or like,
exactly.
They didn't,
no, exactly.
You know, they didn't say what gender it was. We don't even know what species it is. It could just be a gender neutral species for all we know, right? So,
yeah,
I don't know. I'm okay with that. I haven't read the High Republic. I don't know if reading the High Republic has anything to do with the Acolyte show. I'm sure Geode, the rock thing, will appear. If it doesn't, I think that's a missed opportunity because fans went irate over it. You told me about it, and like 2 weeks later, fans discovered it on Twitter and went.
Yeah, I was surprised how long that took.
It took forever. I was like, oh, Brock told me about that like 2 years ago. Like,
but like the new, like in the books and in the new bunch of books that's coming out in June or July, I believe, is like they're still pushing heavily the idea that this era is where they're starting to unify the galaxy and bring in Outer Rim what's the part of space? Undiscovered?
Unknown regions?
Unknown regions? What is it called? We used to talk about it all the time.
I can't remember. Unknown regions?
But like all that is like, that's the big premise. They're kind of like they're unifying those planets. What, like the Outer Rim is still the Outer Rim, but it's not even remotely as controlled as it is as you see it in the original trilogy, right? So that's a big deal, right? And then so that I would argue is the High Republic era, is that this sort of like they're mapping out more. They're talking so much about like hyperspace lanes and stuff like that and mapping that all out. That's what this era is going to be about. So it's like, it's interesting because like the Jedi are helping that happen, but obviously you can create a story that all of this happening is what's allowing the Sith to come back, right? So it would be, it's almost as mind-boggling as Shang-Chi is apparently going to be a movie and not a series. The Acolyte isn't about a Sith Lord of some point, and Plagueis is probably the idea. If we're following that, could it be another Sith Lord? I would be totally in, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, the thing with Plagueis is he's mentioned. Not that it has to be in the Acolyte, but you can't ignore Plagueis if you're going to do something. But what you're saying could be kind of cool if what you're saying is all of the unification of the galaxies coming together. And what if that is actually all due to a Sith Lord?
Yeah.
Like, what if that's all Plagueis is doing? And then Palpatine comes in and he sees what Plagueis is doing. He's like, well, that's what I want. And then he usurps.
Yeah.
Plagueis.
Why does Palpatine want to run the galaxy? Like,
power.
Has there ever been an answer?
I believe it's just
power,
unlimited power.
But what got him to that? You know what I mean? So it's like perhaps we can find out that story now.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, like the Acolyte so far, I don't even know how far away it is. I'm sure it's being written. We know that.
I mean, you could maybe it's a issue of immortality because it's not Plagueis' whole thing in Revenge of the Sith. Like he was trying to find immortality. What's the story? Like, what is he trying to like?
Oh, Darth Plagueis can stop the people he loved from dying.
Right. Yeah, and that's so. Yeah, I guess.
So here's a question: Is
immortal.
Palpatine as old as we all thought he was, or is he even older than that when we get to meet him? And oh man, I had a question for you, and now I lost it.
Okay. Well, you email it to me
later.
Oh,
here's a question for you. Acolyte comes. Let's say Book of Boba Fett comes out. Mandalorian season 3 comes out. Ahsoka comes out. Let's say that Rangers show is still happening. I don't know if it is, but let's say that show comes out. All these shows come out, but they're all connected, right? All these shows are connected to each other. Then the Acolyte comes out. Are people confused? Like, because some people were confused by Rogue One. Are they confused that this show's not connected to what we just watched and those four or five other shows?
Probably. I don't know. The pace that they're going with new Disney Plus stuff, it's like I think people right now are just like, yeah, sure, I'll watch it. So it's like
it starts off with a disclaimer: this is not connected to the Ahsoka show.
People watch Tiger King for no reason, and people watch Queen's Gambit for no reason. They literally watched it because the first thing they saw was that
algorithm tells you to watch it.
Algorithm tells you. So like. Who knows why they choose what they choose? Who knows why? I can't think of an example, but like, yeah, I think everything is surprising on what people are into. So, and I think we're in a world where people are willing to try anything because they can it doesn't really cost you anything besides time. Even though you are paying for subscriptions, like you can watch, like I can watch Disney Plus at work, at home, on the bus that I never take, or in my car. Like, you know what I mean? I can watch all these things wherever I am. So it's like, I think that freedom is what people are like, yeah, I'll just watch this. If it's not good, whatever. So,
yeah.
And then if you throw that stamp of Marvel or Star Wars on it, people will be like, oh, I know what this is.
No, that's true. Yeah. No, I think they'll watch. I'm just wondering if they become, not that it's a big deal. We're trying to make topics here to talk about. I
know what you mean. Yeah,
I have not seen Tiger King, and Aaron watched the Queen's Gambit, and I walked in and I left, but I haven't seen either of those. I did watch something. I don't know what it was, but I watched something. Did I like it?
Congratulations.
I watched Wolf Cop on Shudder. Shot in Saskatchewan. He's a cop, Brock, but he's also a werewolf, and he's also a drunk.
And he's just trying to keep his kids.
It was wild. I've been watching. I watched Scream 2 again. What the hell? I watched something. I don't know what it was. Now I'm frustrated. Tells you how much I liked it, though. But
oh yeah,
I watched something. I was like, oh.
Yeah, but like I think with all these franchises, like there's somebody that kind of looks at these scripts and is like, okay, cool, this is very, very good, but can you do this so at least we can connect it somehow, or at least that it's like if you haven't watched the 10 other movies, you can still kind of enjoy this or understand what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, but maybe that's not popular anymore because look at WandaVision. If you've never seen any of those movies, you're like, what is going on?
Yeah. WandaVision was like the boner thing. Aaron had no idea who he was, like that he was Quicksilver.
Yeah.
And so the boner joke didn't work for her on any level.
Because you know, like there's a lot of, especially comics, but I'm sure there's movie examples people could think of, like where you're thrown into a universe or world that like isn't directly, you don't under like it just contained in this movie. And I mean, I guess that's what a movie is. You're thrown into a plot, and maybe you're like, it's not like, here's this person, they live here. Like, you're thrown right into the action, so you have to figure it out as you go. And I think that's what Star Wars was, in a sense, where it's like, this is the world, and you're gonna learn how it exists by Luke not being from the galaxy, or he's from a desert planet, so he hasn't seen anything, so he can be your guide to like understanding what's going on around you. So I don't know. I think people will like what they like, and they go from there. 10, 15 years ago, if you told me Guardians of the Galaxy was going to be a movie, it's like, what? That wasn't even a like hugely successful comic, in my opinion.
I still remember when that was announced. I'm like, Brock, you're like, there's a talking raccoon. And I was like, all right.
Yeah.
But you know, that one, I feel like that first movie, all the like the stars all aligned. Like, it was lightning in a bottle. Like, it hit something, and
the right director, the right crew, the right look.
It was like everything just kind of hit gold at that point, and it's like,
because like when the Guardians of the Galaxy, like the current version of them came out in the comics in like the 2000s, I remember seeing Star-Lord, which at the time his face was covered and he had a helmet. You occasionally see it. What's his face? Chris Pratt wears in the movie is a very scaled down version of that, where you can't see his hair, but it had that the way it looked is what the front of the face. So it looked like he was a monster or something, or an alien, but he's a person under there. I thought he was a nihilist from the villain from Fantastic Four, because they had eyes the same. I legit, like, that is like, I saw an ad for it and I was like, there's a raccoon, a tree, and a guy who would inevitably be Drax, who in the 90s looked completely different from what he looked like now. And this guy that was called Star-Lord, I'm like, what is this? And it's like a massive success. It launched Chris Pratt. I mean, he was already kind of launched, but like it like solidified him as one of the Hollywood Chris's. And like we were talking earlier, Batista, like Vin Diesel is like all of a sudden, oh, he is an actor. So
Bradley Cooper, like, Kirk from Gilmore Girls, who is Sean Gunn, James Gunn's brother, and Zoe Saldana, who just, if she's in a movie, it's the #1 movie on the earth. Because
pretty much. Yeah.
But it was lightning hit a bottle, and it was funny because I convinced Aaron to see it, because I was like, I think it's gonna be like, it's kind of like Marvel's Star Wars is what it was being. It's not at all, but it like
no, but
that's how you would sell it, which makes complete sense. But and we went to go see it, and she was like, that was the greatest movie ever. Like, it was just like, what the hell did we like? It ended, and it was like, was that really good? That was kind of like how the feeling. Right? I was like, and
no, you know what it is? That movie is Marvel's Galaxy Quest.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. But you can't sell it like that. But yeah, you're definitely right.
Absolutely not. Yeah.
Because it was like, it took place in the Marvel universe, but nothing. It didn't take itself seriously. It knew what it was, and it just had fun living in what it was. And then you're like, all right, because like that opening scene starts, and it tells you what the movie is in that first like 5 minutes, and you're like, and you're either in or you're not based on that 5 minutes, right? I think most people were in, but it was like, there's the first 5 minutes is what the movie's going to be, and you're like, oh, great. But just and honestly, Star Wars is completely different, but it's the same. The crawl, right? I bet you when people saw that movie in 1977 and bang came on the screen, they were just like, I'm in. Like, that was right from the get go. Thanks, Brian De Palma.
Thank you.
I'm sure he's going to respond.
We'll wait.
Just tumbleweed. Anyway, good time. You want to go to the odds?
Let's do it. Never tell me the odds, James. Tell me.
Sir, the possibility of successfully navigating an asteroid field is approximately 3,720 to 1.
Never tell me the...
Never tell me the odds, just tell me the evens. If you like what we do, why don't you head on down to patreon.com/Rebel Scum Podcast and support us. That would be great, and thank you very much. And you could be one of the many few that we shout out their names every episode, like Heidi Feder, executive producer, Barry Brophy, Dennis Allen, Randy Kenobi, Mary Kristen Aton, Jeff Wilson, Phil Stanifor, Sooner Thrawn, Scott D, Josh Price, Matt W,
Rez, Frank Perkins, Neil Lowry, D. Raven Spencer, Cosmic Girl 02, Gleek Play 1, Disney Desi, Charlotte, Kayla Davis, Aaron Quinton, Denoners, and the Girls with Sabers. Oh,
what up?
Patreon next week. Andrew told me there will be a Goodwill's hunting next week for Patreon supporters. So I don't know what
with Matt Damon.
With Matt Damon. Andrew doesn't tell me what they are, and the last one was on the Bendu. So I don't know what this one's going to be about. It's surprising me with them, but I'm looking forward to it, Brock. We're going to do one on our Star Wars expertise. It's going to be about how Luke Skywalker has blonde hair. Right?
Blondies.
Wait, does he have blonde hair?
That works because you're blonde.
I was when I had hair.
And I was blonde when I was a boy, so we can be blondies.
Blondies.
The blonde cast.
Never tell me the odds. Our first, thank you, Patreon supporters are for real. Thank you so much. Will we see an Ewok and a Wookiee team up in a Star Wars show?
You don't have to finish the sentence. I just said yes. 100%. Though it's like it's cool, but like it's a little too much fur and not enough talking. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but they wouldn't be. The show wouldn't be Ewok and the Wookiee. They would be like supporting
in the show.
Like what would happen is, like I don't know, the Book of Boba Fett would go to a planet. There'd be a Wookiee there and an Ewok, and at some point everyone has to get together. And the Wookiee and the Ewok are like, if you stand on my shoulders, we could defeat these bad guys. And so the Wookiee would get on the Ewok's shoulders, and that's how they would defeat the bad guy. Yeah. So I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go 90% because if they don't do it, Kathleen Kennedy should be fired.
Let's go to the chart. She got fired 5 minutes ago. Boom.
We should have it.
I'm just gonna be 100% on this. Like, yes, please, thank you.
Favreau, if you're listening, new show idea: the Book of Wookiee Ewok Fett. Number 2, our next odd. Will Rian Johnson direct an episode of Mando? Apparently, there's an article floating around where he has spoken to Dave Filoni about possibly directing an episode.
Oh, I know. It's in the news. So 100% because it's in the Hollow News.
I know everybody's either way too in love with him or way too in hate with Rian Johnson. But you can never forget that he directed the strangest episode of Breaking Bad and arguably the best episode of Breaking Bad.
Ozymandias, I believe.
Yes, that's the one. Yep. When is it Hank? Actually, I hate Rian Johnson's guts for that episode.
It's the episode where he throws the pizza on the roof.
Is that that episode? No, that's way earlier, isn't it? Anyway,
that's way earlier.
So the Fly episode is like the weirdest episode on TV, but I thought he did a really cool job with it. Yeah. And then the that episode is just probably one of the best episodes of television history. I'm gonna go. I can't go 100 because I'm gonna go 75%. Do you think he would use a pseudonym, like a fake name, a pen name, pseudonym for that?
Brian Johansson.
Johnson Ryan. Oh, he just spells his name like Ryan.
John Ryanson.
John Ryanson.
George Lucas Ryan Johnson.
And our final odd: less than 50% of the Obi-Wan show will be set on Tatooine.
Nice. I'm gonna go full Brock on this because I'm like, that's a good idea. Just completely confuse people of what's actually gonna happen. Like, go the exact opposite direction of what everyone's theorizing the show's about. So, I'm an agent of chaos, James.
I'm okay with. If they do that. I'm okay with it. Like I said, I'm one of the few Star Wars fans who was not hankering for this show. I'm not opposed to it. I don't think I'm opposed to any Star Wars show except for the Acolyte. No, I'm joking. I'm looking forward to that. I don't know what you do with Obi-Wan. I've never been on, and I know you've read the comics, but I've never been interested in what he's done on Tatooine. Yeah. Like I don't even know if I haven't been interested, or it has never crossed my mind. Like I've never put any thought into wonder what he did on Tatooine for those 19 years. Never thought of it. I just thought he hung out, had some campfires with marshmallows, and him and Uncle Owen got into a spat once in a while, and then he's like, "Well, I'm gonna go be a hermit." So I'm gonna go full Brock on this one, full Brock, because maybe it could happen. I don't know. What the hell do I know? Show me the show.
Anything can happen.
Anything can happen. That's a song?
Yeah.
Maybe that's why they got fired from Solo, because in the middle of Solo they sang that song.
Maybe.
So Solo's like, we could make the Kessel Run in less than 12 parsecs, and Kira's like, that's not possible. And then Han Solo goes, anything can happen.
I read an article that apparently Andy Samberg apologized for making that song. Just why? It's an earworm song, but I always like that song. I have it on my Spotify.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't think I've ever actually had that song stuck in my head. It's a great song. I think it deserved. Did it win the Oscar? It deserved it. If it didn't, I think it did. Wasn't it sung by Tegan and Sarah in the end credits?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's them. It's them. It's Tegan and Sarah singing the chorus, and then Lonely Island singing the chorus. They rap what things that are awesome. Okay. But they didn't write the entire song. The song was there, and then the Lonely Island came in and did all their little rap things. Punch up. So it's
I haven't seen the sequel to the Lego movie, but first one was fun. I saw the Batman Lego. Bat Lego?
Yeah.
Lego?
That was good too.
Lego.
I am the Lego brick.
Yeah, I like that one. Anyway, news?
Let's do it.
Holla news, da 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 da. Holla news, da 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 da. Holla da 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 da. And I'm going to turn my.
Holla news, the news you need to know right now. Well, guess what? There's another book coming out. For years, Star Wars Insider has been home to more than just journalism and criticism about the ins and outs of the galaxy far, far away, but original fiction spanning everything from the highs of the old expanding universe to the recent launch of the High Republic. A new anthology is gathering some of its classics, and there is a look inside, releasing on Star Wars Day this year, May 4th. If you didn't know what Star Wars Day was, Titan Publishers will be publishing Star Wars Insider: Fiction Collection Volume 1, gathering stories and artwork from the magazine's long history of original fiction, featuring tales from Star Wars icons like Jason Fry, Matthew Stover, John Ostrander, and Paul S. Kemp, as well as art by Joe Coroni, Brian Rood, Jan Teresma, Magali Villeneuve, and many more. It's a fitting celebration of the magazine's library of Star Wars creative story. Ahead of the release, IO9 got the exclusive to look inside the classic book. The classics return, highlighting the beloved Shadows of the Empire star Dash Rendar, captain of the Outrider and Han Solo knockoff of our dreams. Take a look at the exclusive excerpt from Michael Reeves and Maya Catherine Bonoffs. And Lebo Makes 3 on IO9's website. That's right, it's called And Lebo Makes 3. Lebo being Dash Rendar's droid friend. And apparently the cover poster for that is drawn by the Hildebrand brothers, who are famous for doing trading cards and covers and what have you. We mentioned it before, Rian Johnson might be into directing an episode of The Mandalorian. Reporter Soraya Wilson from Coming Soon website recently caught up with director Rian Johnson for an upcoming story in USA Today, and she revealed that the filmmaker is very interested in taking the helm of an episode of The Mandalorian. In fact, Johnson said he was dying to direct an episode, but right now he's focused on getting Knives Out 2 off the ground. Camp, which, as we all know, is Netflix is giving him all the money to make it. 2 sequels with Daniel Craig. Johnson confirmed that he's already spoken to Dave Filoni about directing The Mandalorian at some point, and the director's desire to get in on the bounty hunting fun was solidified when he visited the set during the production on the first season. Johnson said he almost fell over when he saw the stagecraft virtual background known as the volume and how it worked. Not just because of the technology, but because it gives you vertigo when set shifts while you're standing in the middle of it. And our final story, we reported about this, I believe, 2 episodes ago. The Lego Skywalker Saga game was delayed, but it was announced that it's expected to release sometime in 2021. Which originally is far from the first release window when it was announced for E3 2019, and WB gave a vague 2020 release window, and obviously because of COVID-19 restrictions, TTA games were kind of delayed on finishing. As we reported, they want to give the best game that they can give, but on April. Nope, that was something else. And so, yeah, it's coming out this year, kids. So save all your pennies, because the new Lego Star Wars game will be coming soon. And this has been your Hall of News. Hi.
It's okay. My mic was completely off. Just tweeting a picture of you reading the news.
Yeah, I know. Tweeting. Twitter. Ugh. That's what I say to that, James. Ugh.
Okay. Great news stories. Unbelievable. What do you think is going to happen first, Brock? End of COVID or Lego Skywalker Saga?
Ooh.
We should have like a chart, like a pool. See who gets closest to the date.
We have like a clock, like in Watchmen. It's like we're 4 minutes from Doomsday. We're 4 minutes from Lego Skywalker Saga. I'm actually I keep talking about this game. I'm like, I might go buy this, and then we can make like videos of it.
Yeah, you're hyping me up for it more than I was. But it's like Lego or COVID. Which comes first? We'll figure it out. All right, top 5.
Top 5. What is the top 5 today,
I
James?
feel like we just did this one a month ago, but we're doing top 5 Grogu moments.
Top 5 Grogu.
I love Grogu, and my number 5 is when he eats the eggs. Yeah, because he just goes blop, blop, and then he learns that life is precious. Bloop.
My number 5 is when he eats the frog, because it's just like it's the same experience as the eggs. So it's just like, oh, he just eats whatever he wants. Cool.
Yeah, I went with spiders for 4 when he eats the spider. Mine's just a list of Grogu eating things. I hope you all enjoy. What's your number 3?
My number 4.
Yep.
My number 4 is the fire, the flamethrower trooper, and he's like, I have the force.
Trooper, yeah. My number 3 is when he waves to Grief Karga. Do the magic hand thing, baby. That's my number 3. I gotta be honest with you, Brock. My favorite episode, the egg episode. Everyone knows the egg episode is my favorite episode. Not one moment from the egg episode made my list. I might have to rethink my love for the... Nope, it's my favorite episode. The end.
My number 3 is when he takes the ball off the joystick in the Razorback. And then just the whole through line story plot of that throughout the series. Two episodes.
But, see, this is the thing. And this is why I think he might be coming back. They never resolve that.
Yeah.
It was like the one thing that survived in the Razor Crest. I can't believe that got blown up, by the way.
Yeah.
How that's my number 2, when he's drinking the tea during the... I don't know if they're going to digitally remove Cara Dune from it or not, but when she's fighting Mando, and he just comes up, he's like just sitting there like drinking it. That's one of the greatest, Bryce Dallas, that's one of the greatest cuts in the show, I think. It's just cutting to Baby Yoda with the sippy cup. It's great.
My number 2 is the scene in whatever Moff Gideon's ship is called, where he sees Luke coming over the security and he touches it. Like, oh, I'm like, whoa, something's happening. Well, a lot of things are happening in that scene.
That was, I think, the second time you text me at 6 a.m. Don't know online. My number 1 was your number 3 when he stops the flames from the incinerator trooper. Probably my favorite moment of this. I mean, that or the armorer kicking stormtrooper butt. But those are my 2 favorite moments for this series. Probably as I speak.
My number 2 is, my number 1 was your number 2. Him sipping the soup because of how big of a meme it became.
But it's like, it's such a great cutaway. It was just like, it's just hilarious.
The episode that everyone says is the worst has the biggest meme in it.
Has your number 1 Grogu moment in it, my number 2 Grogu moment. It's a great moment.
Yeah, it's fantastico.
I don't know. When I rewatched, I haven't rewatched season 2 yet. I'm a terrible person. Yeah. But when I rewatched season 1, that episode, it's just so tough to. It's not the most original story, but the AT-ST at the end with the red eyes is amazing. Yeah. There's a lot of good things in it that I imagine I imagine that episode's going to come back to play at some point in the next 2 seasons by the time the series is done. But we'll see. I mean, it did. It brought us Cara Dune, everybody's
favorite character.
Probably. I wish I had that. I wish I went to the Walmart store so many times and they had Cara Dune figures and I never grabbed one. And now I'm like, wish I grabbed them all. That'd be rich, right? I'd be like, Aaron, guess we're going on eBay. Selling Cara Dune figures that I got for $20 for $120. Let's do it. American. That episode, I mean, maybe it's the weakest of the first season, but it's a solid episode regardless. Though. Yeah, it actually is solid. It could also be it was the first one that like deviated from every. You know what I mean? Like because the first episode's the first episode, the second episode is a continuation from the first one, then the third one kind of. It was almost like a trilogy of episodes, right? Like it kind of rounded out by the third. And then the fourth one was okay. We got to start anew. So it was almost like a new episode 1. So I understand where that would come from, but whatever. If you watch the show as a whole, it's a fantastic show.
Absolutely.
All right, want to wrap it up?
All right. Well.
Hey scumbags, thanks for watching. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up on our video. As always, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Rebel Scum Podcast, for all the latest videos.